All right, Bay Area and the world, welcome to Shamann Walton's first episode of the 100% Real podcast, where everything we talk about is 100% real. So before we get started with today's guest, and before we move forward, I just want to remind everybody, because we got to pay some bills. So today's sponsor is From Juvenile Hall to City Hall. Your resume can change. My autobiography, talking about being incarcerated as a young person, and then changing my life and having opportunity, of course, to become the president of the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. So, but enough about that. As we welcome you to the 100% Real podcast, we're going to start off with our very, very, very first guest, who is the legendary Black C of RBL Posse. Black, what you want to say to the people in terms of hello, introduction, how I talk to the people before we jump in and dive into these questions.
Man, it's a true blessing to wake up this morning and a blessing to be here, man. Especially after 33 years in this music game, to still be here.
That's
right.
Sir. That's
yes,
right.
Sir.
Well, I want to thank you for blessing us with your presence this morning. I'm really excited about this interview, as it's not somebody who has, of course, become a friend over time period, but who grew up a fan. So I got to tell you, my first time listening to RBL. I'm from West Point, lived in the projects in PH2 before I moved to Vallejo, where I was raised. But I came to visit Uncle Corey one day in West Point, and he had this tape, and it was RBL Posse, Lesson to Be Learned. And he was like, these are my folks from Harbor, and man, I popped that in, and of course the first song, I Ain't No Joke, this 1992. And I'm like, we got some folks from the city that's putting it down. I can't wait to take this tape to Vallejo.
Yes,
and I
sir.
said tape, that's right, because that's what we was doing, was tapes back then. But tell me how RBL got formed, how Lesson to Be Learned came to be, and just let the people know about that, because you're a real legend. It's some real history, and the folks need to hear from you.
How we got started was through my boy T-Lo, who Herm Lewis, shout out to Herm Lewis,
for sure.
Black Power Production.
That's right.
He had an artist T-Lo. T-Lo, before T-Lo even got with Herm, that all kind of happened through my studio, that connection anyway. But T-Lo actually was the person I actually wanted to do. Well, we're going to take it back a little bit before that. When I got out of the just juvenile facility, Log Cabin Ranch,
right.
LCR, to all my LCR people, man, Seth the Gaffler, all of us who was up there. Yes, sir. I got out in 89, and Budweiser was rapping at the time, and he was like, bro, won't you invest to some equipment for me and get behind me on this music stuff.
Right.
And I really wasn't thinking about doing the music. I was just more or so going to be an investor. And I went and bought the equipment. Me, him, my boy Double B. Shout out Malik, who do all the art stuff around Bayview District and everything. He was Double B at the time. He said he knew how to work the stuff and all that.
Artist.
Yeah.
Right.
So we went to pawn shops. I went, buying a lot of stuff. I had a little money back then, so that's why Budweiser, came to me. But, we went and bought the stuff and got up there. Nobody knew how to work the stuff. Double B didn't know what he was doing, so I kind of got in it on accident as far as the music. It was one of those things where I just kind of start tinkering with the stuff, going back and forth to Guitar Center, going to the pawn shops, asking them. They start showing me how to work with the RCAs
just real quick,
and everything.
Before I'm going to pause you just real quick, because what you're explaining really is about all the work it took.
Right.
All the things you had to do to get to the point
just
where
to even get to the
got to that first
exactly.
album. My bad. I just want people to understand out
sure.
there, you don't wake up and be on top. It's a
not
grind.
at all.
It's some things that you got to do to get there. So
and it was a process because, like I said, that was 89 when I got the equipment.
Right.
We didn't drop till 92.
Right.
So 89, like I said, I went and got the equipment. He didn't know how to work it. I started going back and forth doing research, and I kind of got bit with the bug just by going back and forth. It was just like real interesting to me just to learn, okay, XLRs, MIDI chords, just how that worked. Then I learned about the 4-track, how to, bounce tracks over, because you only have 4 tracks, so you record on one track, maybe do doubles, and then you bounce them over to one track together, and then you free up
Those
tracks.
in the music industry understand that, and we didn't come a long way.
Exactly.
For sure.
Long way, man. You know what I mean? From putting SMPTE time code, for those that don't know, striping the tape, 2-inch reels and all that. So basically I got into that, and I started being pretty much like the beat maker, So I started doing beats for Budweiser. T-Lo was the rapper. He was like our Ice Cube. He was dope. And from then, they stopped coming to the studio. They out hustling, doing whatever they was doing. So I was just like, bro, what's going on? I got beats. Why don't y'all come, do some stuff at the studio? And they was like, we'll be there later on. We'll do this, we'll do that. So I ended up making a song called What About My Niggas? And I was just naming everybody in the neighborhood. And it blew up, like, locally in the neighborhood.
For sure.
I named everybody around. So I did that same concept again and put out a song called Rolling Through the Turfs of HP.
Okay.
Where I named a bunch of popular people around in Hunters Point. And that's pretty much how I got into it. And I was going to be a solo artist. And what happened was I had Lesson to Be Learned. I had Don't Give Me No Bammer Joint. We Don't Smoke That Shit in Hunters Point. That was the original song.
That's right.
Before we switched it up, before Mr. C came. And then I had More Like an Orgy. So I had those songs, but then I kind of got cold feet when it was really time to go to the studio. So I told T-Lo, man, let's be a group. And T-Lo was like, because he was dope. T-Lo was the man, at the time. So he was like, nah, bro, I kind of want to do my solo thing, but I know somebody who rap, who you will love. His name Mr. C. I'm dating his sister.
Right.
And I was just like, all right, I was pissed off, but I was just like, yeah, bring him up here. So he brought Mr. C up there. I let him rap. I made a beat for him. He made a song called Hit Squad New Jack. We was called the Hit Squad before RBL. That was going to be our name. And then later on, before we was finna go in the studio professionally, we found out EPMD and them had the Hit Squad, so we had to change our name.
Shout out to EPMD.
Yeah, shout out EPMD. And T-Lo ended up giving us the name Ruthless by Law. He was like, man, all right, get the Hit Squad, man. Y'all ruthless by law. And I didn't even think about the meaning or anything. It just sounded dope to me. Right. You know what I mean? So that's how I got started.
I think a lot of people don't really understand that you was actually producing before you was rapping.
Yeah,
and the fact that you did most of the beats.
Yeah, all of it, except G's by the 1, 2, 3.
With TC, shout out to
exactly.
TC. But that was something that I even had to learn later.
Right.
I didn't really look at the credits and everything. I didn't even realize that you was the one making all the beats and doing that, and
and I didn't break down the credits either. Like I just said, all beats produced by RBL, except G's by the 1, 2, 3 produced by TC. Right. But everybody, TC name stood out a little bit bigger because he had dealt with Totally Insane, Black Dynasty, a lot of artists, IMP, Cool Nut and them. So that's why his name stood out, and everybody thought he produced the whole album, but he didn't. It was pretty much me that did it. And back then, if I'd have knew about credits, I'd have broke down each song,
of course,
showing who produced what. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, the legend is there.
For sure. Now people know. For sure.
I mean, so Lesson to Be Learned comes out. Y'all do numbers, obviously. Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed became nationwide, was hitting everywhere. I ended up going to college in Atlanta. In 93, by the grace of God, too. I got out there. Man, Black. So when y'all came out with Ruthless by Law, the second
94.
album, and I'm going to take credit, because we was bumping that all over Atlanta, right? And I'm running
first
around
album,
like,
man.
Everything, but this came out while I was actually in school.
Okay,
and so we was bumping that all over Atlanta, and we, folks was getting on, they was loving it. I think I bought the CD. I couldn't tell you exactly what store, but I think I bought it out there in Lenox Mall, and we was bumping RBL all over the ATL, man, trying to, of course, put our city on the map, continue to put the Bay on the map. It was a lot of discrimination in terms of what they played out there. But so tell me about the second album. That came out, and, I know after that, like, the name was just buzzing. Y'all was killing the game.
Really, it buzzed on like going back to the first album, like you said, going to college. That's what really helped us get out, because there was a lot of people that left going through the Omega Boys Club program. A lot of people went to college.
Shout out to the Omega Boys Club.
Man, shout out to Omega Boys Club, man. My boy Jack and all them, man. They really sent a lot of people from Hunters Point out, and they was real proud. Like had that Hunters Point really Frisco pride was like. I'm taking my boys' tapes out, so they took it with them, and that's what kind of got us to kind of migrate out into Detroit's and Kansas City's, through everybody going to college and everything. So, and that's what kind of blew us up right there, man, with a lot of people leaving Hunters Point going to school. And just to get back to the second album, we end up switching up, because if you notice the first album, I used a lot of samples. I went to TC Studio and went crazy with the samples.
Yeah, for sure.
And that kind of set us back.
It's a learning process.
Yeah, because you got to get them cleared, and we didn't know nothing about that. I thought you could just use whatever. I had my little sampler where I only had was able to sample 2.4 seconds on a SP12, and then you had to speed up the record to get an extra, try to get double time and all that. So that's kind
of nostalgic, because you're talking about the lessons that you learned, and the album was called A Lesson
Exactly.
So that makes sense.
A lot of sense, man. So we got down there. He had the Emax with a bunch of sampling time, so we went crazy with the samples down there, you know. But the second album, I tried to switch it up because we didn't get paid off the first album, so we just tried to do more like interpolations, playing everything over. So any sample I had, Enhancer and TC and them went in there and kind of recreated it everything. And I'm glad we did step it up because during that time too, you had like E40 and a lot of people, Mike Mosley, Sam Bostic, Kyrie, a lot of them was
Shout out to
playing,
all them in that sound.
In that sound, Studio Tone, and then they was all playing original. You know, they had them keyboards, so we started doing the same thing, which was crazy as we was doing that before I actually went into TC Studio. I had all original stuff that I was playing. But I just went crazy once I figured out he had all that sample time. So I went to samples.
That's right.
You know, but I said, man, let's just go and revert back to what we normally do. And we ended up putting it in that Ruthless by Law, man, and that set us up lovely.
Now on Ruthless by Law, because I got My Nine is on there, and I know y'all did. Y'all put that on a compilation before.
That was
what
like a single.
compilation was that?
That was on Herm's compilation, Trying to Survive in the Ghetto.
First one, right?
First one.
First compilation.
And that came out in '93, and what that was kind of like an introduction to us coming to new.
Yeah.
When Herm put that out, we had that song sitting, and I was just like, man. Herm was like, yeah, I'm doing a compilation. I need y'all on it, and we had I Got My Nine sitting, and like I said, it was a sample. But when we got over to TC and them, him and Enhancer and them like replayed the loop over, and that set us up lovely for the second album because that sold his album right there, you know, and it gave exposure to every because we was hot at the time. We was like compilation killers. Every compilation we was getting on. We was doing our thing, you know what I mean?
And that was back when the compilation game was
heavy.
A lot of people don't know it started right here in the Bay Area.
It started with Herm compilation.
Herm put that down, showed you that you could bring artists together on the same album, put out compilations, and make that magic happen for all the artists and get them exposure. So
most definitely.
That was something that I was excited about. So album 1 and 2, they come out, y'all booming, y'all killing the game, and then record labels started looking at y'all.
Start looking, we started getting talks from Relativity, Priority, I think it was Zoo Entertainment at the time, and then we ended up getting that call from Big Beat Atlantic, Craig Callaman, who the big dog over at Atlantic Records right now. He was real interested in, we ended up going with him. Def Jam was on us too, and we was about to go with Def Jam and them just because of the roster, but then when Craig Callaman came out to see us, he like made a point. He was just like, you know, you can go over there and kind of get swallowed up by a lot of big dogs, but I'm a true fan, and it's like, man, I know what I can do with y'all over at Atlantic Records. You know what I mean? So we ended up going with him because he was the only one that came out and actually reached out to us.
Right.
And like, man, look, I want to do this with y'all. He's naming songs. He know the history. So I was just like, this is what I want right here.
Okay.
And so we start working out the deal.
So y'all work out the deal. Y'all signed with Atlantic, and you know, we really got to talk about something that obviously it hit everybody hard. It hit the Bay Area hard.
Yes, sir.
Of course, it hit Hunters Point and the whole city and community hard.
Tragedy, man. Just tragedy.
You know, 1995, signed, everything coming. And then on New Year's Day, Mr. C gets killed.
Right. Then, we didn't even sign yet. It was just in the talks. We just had it worked out, couple million. It was like big deal. Everybody's knowing like, man, we about to blow up. And then tragedy struck, you know, New Year's Day, 1996, January 1st, Mr. C get killed.
So I know I've heard you talk about, you know, how you found out and how you felt and everything, but like tell the people just what that does to, you know, not just a group, but obviously friends, folks who putting it down. You an example for young folks. Because like what I also want to get across is like not just the music, not the fact that you're a celebrity, not the fact that you put out albums, but the humanistic part of all of this. Right. Because, and all the work that you put into it. I want people to see that you don't just end up putting it down for 30 plus years, continuing to be relevant just overnight. And some struggles and trials and tribulations happen, but that tragedy happened on New Year's Day in '96. It hit us all. I was actually home just real quick for Christmas break and everything. But like, tell me, you know, what that did to you and what that did to RBL and the community, man.
Man, it shut. Well, as far as me, man, I know I went through a great depression because just because too, you know, I felt responsible, even though I wasn't, you know, like directly, but I just felt responsible, like kind of indirectly, because Mr. C came up there to deal with me, and he wasn't from that life. Like, he came up there and he started representing Harbor Road. He come up there and every song, I'm from the HRD, Harbor Road, this and that, and it just to be betrayed by people who you feel like it's supposed to be your homies. And, it was like devastating, man. It just killed me to the core. Like, I vaguely remember 96 like that because I was so in such a shell. And, man, it really, like, it built who I am to this day, because, a lot of dudes knew me around there. I had a lot of respect. It could have been crazy, you know what I mean? But I ended up taking the high road and was just like, success is going to be the best revenge. Let me keep my head on my shoulders. Let me keep working. 'Cause I was in the process of, we had just dropped Hitman album in 95. It did good. It was just selling like crazy because I was selling those out the trunk, and we sold over almost like close to 200,000 units.
And that's numbers.
Especially out the trunk. And I pressed up everyone, took them to City Hall, and I'm getting COD. We eating off of it. Yeah, shout out Walt, man, over there at City Hall, man. He, to this day, me and him got a relationship. I still deal with him. And, it just crushed our whole little, just that moment and just the whole celebration of just being about to sign to a record label and about to, like, and all I'm thinking about is putting the city on. And not only that, but especially Hunters Point. The community is a bunch of people I have relationships with, rappers around there, groups and stuff who I knew what it was going to do for me, TC, and everybody.
Yes.
And that, it was a major setback, man. But just in that process, just me swallowing my pride and talking to people like Craig. He still wanted to do the deal. He was like, I know what happened, but I know you the man behind the music. Right. It's like, we can still do this. You still got Hitman.
Right.
I know he can't fill Mr. C's shoes, but if you're willing to still do the deal, we can still do it. We just got to rework the numbers because now I'm taking more of a risk now. Yeah, sure. And I understood that. I was like, he said, but I'm going to still make it to where if you reach a certain potential, a certain goal, we can boost them numbers up. So we ended up still doing the deal. It was lovely. That kind of, it helped. And just my family, just like, because I wanted to quit. I was just like, man, I don't want to even do the music no more. Because I looked at Mr. C as the lead. I was just kind of like backing him up, man. I looked at him as the lead.
Man. That was special.
Yeah, and I was more the music man. And I looked at him as the lead in the group. And when he was done, it was just like, the chemistry just ain't there no more. And it's just like, man, I don't know. It's just like Hitman was different. He a solo artist. I'm trying to keep him because he different. You know what I mean? I wanted to keep that.
Y'all had a sound. Y'all had been done. Y'all done 2 albums. Exactly. Y'all was already, hitting the world
and
with
we
y'all
together every day.
Y'all sound and y'all music and the way y'all work together. And that was a tragedy for everybody. Man. And then fast forward, 2003, I believe. Then we lose Hitman. Yeah. And Hitman gets shot. And what I want to say before we just go into that is, I want to thank you for focusing on doing things the right way, focusing on, payback through success, and making sure that things didn't go to where they could go, because we know what could have happened. We know how things could have gone down. And the best blessing is really for everybody to, move forward, work on being positive, and show the young folks behind us that you can go through some adversity and really bounce back and do it the right way.
Real talk.
And everybody gets
the
what?
Right way,
at the end of the day,
that's why the label was called that.
Everybody at the end of the day, what? Get to live.
Get to live.
And continue.
Exactly.
And be at 30 plus years in this business. But we lose Hitman, and now where we at?
We lose Hitman. At the time we lost Hitman, I was kind of prepared for that one. It was a little, Mr. C was a little bit different. At the time me and Hitman got killed, it was one of those things where I felt like I told you so, because he got this celebrity. We left Harbor in 96, and he was at the peak, and he didn't get a chance to kind of, be that hood celebrity, be in the hood like we did. When our album dropped, everybody riding through the block and praising you and loving you, the females on you and all that. So he came out to Antioch and was just living with me, and it was the suburbs. It wasn't that much hype going on around us. We was going through a trying time, just kind of like separating from our neighborhood, from old friends, going through drama and everything. So it was hard for him to just stay there, stay put, because he's young, and it's like I want to go over there and feel that. So when he kind of got over there to West Point, he started going back and forth over there. They over there loving him, they praising him. He ended up getting him a crew over there, and I used to call him every day like, bro, we need to work on this new Hitman album. You know, Walter wants his album. He got a budget for us. Let's get. He's, oh man, I gotta be over here. I'm doing this. I'm hustling. I got dudes who counting on me over here. I'm like, bro, like, this is what's gonna provide that for you.
Gravitational pull.
Yeah, and it's like I'm trying to let him know, like, bro, that ain't where it's at. Like you gonna benefit them more by coming over here, getting in the studio, doing what you need to do, putting yourself in a better power position where you could feed them, hustling and being over there with them, not doing anything. I said, this is where it's at. This is why they respect you now, because of the Hitman, celebrity or whatever. So he was just, I don't know, I'll see, I get with you. And I went through that for months. And I told him, I said, bro, right now, you serving yourself on a silver platter. You like that pig with the apple in his mouth over there to all the dudes who don't care about you. You know what I mean? I said, you making yourself really like too accessible. And he didn't want to hear it. So when it happened, bro, it was one of those things where I couldn't even, I shedded a tear, a couple days later. But at the same time, I was just one of them things where it's like, I told you so, bro. I've been telling you and telling you and telling you. You didn't want to listen.
And I think a lot of people, I mean, I know people study history of Bay Area music and everything, but a lot of folks during that time was making music, but also dealing with that gravitational pull of the streets.
Exactly.
And anybody can understand being young and, like you said, not having the opportunity to be that hood celebrity, right?
Yeah.
Because you make it and then you leave, which at the end of the day, we want to make sure that folks could get out of some sick conditions and become positive and become productive and come back to community and give back. But I want to do a toast, man, to Mr. C and Hitman.
Come on, man.
R.I.P. to both of them. We're going to make sure we continue to carry their legacy like you're doing. So you've been in this game 30 plus years, as we continue to talk about.
Yes, sir.
And I know you more than just a rap artist, obviously. But you're an author as well.
Yes,
so
sir.
Tell us about your book. How long it's been out? Where can people go get it?
It's been out 2 years. It's doing real good. We done sold over 1,000 copies out the trunk. I done pressed up another 200. We hit like 1,200 books that I pressed up.
That's what's up.
And then I just pressed up another 200, man. So it's doing real good. People love it. And it's it's called A Part of Survival, From the Block to the Booth. It's talking about, I go in depth on everything. I just explained to you as far as about me meeting Mr. C. Before meeting Mr. C, going through a lot of the turf wars. I'm gonna say gang wars because it was mainly turf stuff, and it was more of a turf thing, neighborhoods. So me losing my eye, getting shot, going through all that, going to log cabin, getting out, and doing a truce thing with Fillmore, through Lonnie Green, and pretty much just getting into the music with Budweiser and talking about everything as far as going through the stuff I was dealing with, even with Mr. C having to be out there and wanting to stay back and hustle to get money because he wasn't getting paid, know, and it was one of those things where Jason and
that product got to come out, that music got to come out for you to eat.
And it was one of those things where he was a part of the right way, but he didn't make the investment when I asked him to.
Right.
So when me and Hitman started eating, I didn't have to sweat Jason and them Independent Records for money because I was over here doing my thing independently. So it's like, but he kept on, bro, let's go over here. I need to get some money. I need to get this. And then so we went through a lot just dealing with that label. You know what I mean? I feel like, they pretty much take some of the blame too, because Mr. C would have never been out there and got killed if he would have had money in his pocket. Yeah, and it was the holidays. He had to take care of his son and them. He borrowed money from me and my manager at the time, Tone, and he was struggling and going through it. And I talk about all that.
Shout out to Mr. C's son,
Kyle Church, man. Beautiful soul, man. That's my godson, man. Love him to death. He turned out to be a very, very, very productive person, man, in Frisco, man. And I love him to death, man. Him, his mom, and them, my sister Nigga, love him. And it was just, that's what the book pretty much explained. I go in depth on all that, and then it's talking about the fallout of my neighborhood and everything afterwards. So all the way till now. So, it's a very good book, good read. If you want to pick it up, it's on Amazon, and it's also on RBLPosse.com, for purchase. Mine comes signed, so you can go to Amazon.
That's right.
It's going to be unsigned, but you get it from me, man, directly.
Well, that's what I do, I try to have my book signed so people can get a piece of me with that, and that's what the people want and everything. So you're hearing about the history, you're hearing about the work that it takes to get to a certain point. But what I want to talk about and what I want to ask you is, as we talk about being 100% real, like when you listen to artists, who you listen to? Like who's the folks that you jump in there on and like, these are folks I gotta listen
To
to.
be honest with you, on the daily, man, I listen to a lot of 70s music, and I listen to Afro. I'm really into reggae, the old school roots reggae from Black Uhuru, Gregory Isaac, all that stuff, but and Steel Post, things of that, Eka Mouse. But I do, when I listen to rap, I listen to everything. People would be shocked how my playlist is. I listen from everything from Tyler the Creator, Chance the Rapper, and then way over here to going all the way to the Kendrick Lamar's, J. Cole's, all the way to the Lil Babies, down to the Mozzies, to the, Larry June.
So a little bit of everybody.
I listen to everything because, I'm a real, true, like, producer. Like, I eat, sleep, drink music every day. Since I got into it, not a day go by without me doing something musically.
Well, that's why you still here 30 plus years
exactly. Later. And that's how you evolve. And people be, bro, how you still flowing now? You done got better. And it's just like, you just evolve with times. If you don't pay attention, no disrespect to Grandmaster Flash and all them, but a lot of them, still rapping the hippity hoppity, you be a little outdated. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like once you in the game and you paying attention, you evolve with it. No, that's like 40 and short now.
It's even funny you say that because, obviously we keep youngsters around us.
And
they all be talking even about how the rap was in the 80s and 90s. And they're like, I was riding with Percy this morning. He's like, I could have rapped in the 90s.
Exactly.
What I mean?
So, in the 90s, you most probably could have.
But you got to be different. You got to continuously do different things. Your style has changed, your music has changed, but it still remains.
You still had to be unique
seat.
in the 90s, though. Right. That's one thing
sure.
That's why they call it the golden era. Because
we ain't going to let them talk about it.
If somebody sounded a certain way, you weren't trying to see both sounded different than Brother Lynch. Brother 100. Lynch and them sounded different than, 100. Like, us and 11-5 sounded different.
Right.
Totally insane. We all sounded different. Nowadays, it's like you get a Rod Wave who coming out melodic. 20, 30 rappers rapping like that. You get a Juice WRLD who melodic. Everybody rapping like that. So it's like.
But do you think it's because it's so easier to get your music to everybody? So, back in the day, like you said, you had to either do your own shit or be connected to somebody in industry.
But I don't think that got nothing to do with style, though.
But everything comes so quick is what I'm saying. Like, well, this is why I'm asking, right? Like, if I go to Instagram and hear somebody rapping and hear their music, I can go duplicate their sound and have something that the world can hear in 2 weeks. Right.
Bro,
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying even when cassettes and stuff was out, I'm hearing Rodney O, Joe Cooley's and all that. I could have rapped like NWA and them. Sure. I mean, even though they was influenced, that's what I'm saying. So even though I'm listening to them, I'm like, they influenced me, but I still wanted to do it, be my own self. I still wanted to do my own because I'm heavily influenced by 415 and NWA. That like them two is RBL. You know what I'm saying? The way production was on NWA album, that's what I tried to do on my first album. Like a bunch of scratches and bringing samples in, but the stuff that I was using was totally different than what Dr. Dre and them was using. You know what I mean? I'm gonna use some Ohio players and different P-Funk, George Clinton samples, and I'm bringing in Salt and Pepper and third bass.
Remind me, the sample remind you know
exactly,
what I mean? Like,
exactly.
You wasn't playing.
And then switching the beat up and all, like I'm doing it different than how they would do it. 415 too. Like I say, D-Lo, his style. He was a big influence on my rap style, but I wanted to do me, so I was switching up, So I think today it ain't that it's more accessible. I just think that when something come out and they like it, they just want to imitate it. Right. It's just all,
Right.
I don't think that
which ain't just real about the craft. It ain't about the.
And I think they see him blowing up too. It's like, man, he eating off that. Let me do it. You know what I mean? So it ain't about being unique.
I think it's just something about that, like. I think, there was a time period where we just wanted to stand on our own and be different and not be like everybody else. And I think people got to even understand, when we talk to young people all the time, it's like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay not to do what somebody else is doing.
Exactly.
And that's hard for a lot of these young folks. And so, I hope that message is getting across. Like, whatever you do, your creativity, whatever it is, be yourself, work on your craft your own way. Because that's not only going to lead to success, but it's going to be yours, and you won't sound like everybody else.
Now, every now and then, you get a couple copycats who get in there and blow up too, but it's usually the ones who come first. And exactly. It's like the A Boogies with the hoodies who came with a different type of melodic. He different than Rod Wave. It's both kind of melodic. Young Thug is different. So, I think it's a lot of them who dope. They put out some good music, but at the same time, the ones who unique is the ones who really go to that next level. When you get them Larry Junes, where it's just like, damn,
shout out to Cuzzo,
man, Larry June. Come on, man. 100. It's like is just a little bit different, and it's just like, man, it's like a breath of fresh air, and that's why people flock to him, because it's like, man, we've been eating on this same dry food all day, and he come through, man, with a soul food plate. You know what I mean? Exactly. He feeding my brain.
That's right.
He talking about health. He talking about wealth, and it's like, come on.
But he was given game by a lot of,
Yeah, of course. He off that RBL branch. Like I say, we got that stump that come out the ground. Right. We got a bunch of branches that come off, and he one of them, man. And he'll tell you that to this day.
That's right.
Most definitely, man. So I appreciate the youngsters, though.
Man, I mean, we gotta love them. That's what keep us young.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you on tour right now?
Yep.
You hitting a lot of different cities. Mm-hmm. Like who you fucking with on tour? Who you messing with? Who you performing with? Tell us some of the cities you hitting, and we'll make sure folks get the information.
Anywhere from
on the tour and
all it's more like a West Coast tour.
Yeah.
We anywhere from like Seattle, Tacoma, and all the way down. We going through Medford, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, all the way down to San Francisco, of course, a couple times the hometown. And we hitting everything from Fresno, Bakersfield. We're going to be all in Southern California, San Diego. We got Santa Barbara up in there, Murrieta. We're going to be in Riverside. We got a Reno stop. And we still adding stops on. So
y'all hear the cities he coming to. So y'all make sure y'all be ready for RBL,
sir.
Black Sea coming to your city. Make sure you pay attention, because we're going to make sure information get out to y'all.
Sir.
But that just demonstrates all the love you got.
Yes, sir.
And who going to be performing with you?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be out there. Some of the stops I'm with Sugar Free. Some of the stops I'm with X-Rated. Shout out X-Rated. Okay. And some of the stops I'm with the Dove Shack and MB Riders. Lighter Shade of Brown.
Okay.
And then some is just with like the Be Legits, the Mac Malls, some of our people from our class in the Bay Area.
That's right.
And a couple on our own that we just doing our own headlining. Yeah.
And so you got the music, you got the book, and obviously when you're not doing the music, when you're not writing, when we see you out, you got the merchandise.
Yes, sir.
At every festival, at every event, y'all out there with the booth.
Yes, sir.
You got the merchandise. Anything you want to tell us about the merchandise and the clothing line and what you got
it's available
going
now, at my website, rblposse.com, or you can go straight to the store for all this, which you can skip past the website is www.rblposse.bigcartel.com. And you can go straight to the store. We're selling all our old CDs. You can buy them signed, unsigned, the books. We got the No Bammer merch. We got the Bluebird merch. I got my 9 T-shirts, hoodies. We got the 30-year anniversary varsity jackets on there, on sale right now too. So come see us, man. I'm constantly pushing the merch. That's something I got into back when we first did the Hitman. Actually, we did the RBL bandanas back in 92. Well, actually 93. We put them out about a year after. They did good. So that's been my thing. First, it started off with just bandanas, and I got to do some more bandanas. Should have did them for the 30th anniversary. Now that I think about it, and it started with the bandanas. Yeah, right. That's exactly. So I'm gonna bring the bandanas back now that I think about it. So it started with them, and it just got into T-shirts with Hitman, and then it went from T-shirts to hats, and now we into hoodies and jackets and everything now.
But that represents the diversity in terms of how you can eat.
Exactly.
And I think that that entrepreneurship spirit, demonstrating to young people that you don't got to just be put in a box. Doing the music, being an author, having the clothing line, the merchandise out there, and it's a brand. RBL is a brand.
It's a brand.
You've been putting it down for so long, and it's a brand that everybody love and respect and mess with. So, so out of all the people you worked with in the industry, what was your best collaborations you feel, or just the people you vibe with, kind of the best, just from this catalog of work that you got for over 3 decades?
To be honest with you, I mean, a bucket list feature that I did that I loved and appreciated was with MC8 on my 97 album.
That's right.
I never really was into features. Me and Mr. C, we always felt like you buy an RBL album, you buy it to listen to us. So we never really asked for features.
Yeah.
Even how we did it with Totally Insane, that was something TC put together. We wasn't trying to look for it. It was just that he had the beat.
And that's
they
a
was
classic,
on it
by
first.
the way.
Yeah, and they was on
That's
it
a
first.
classic.
And it was actually the beat was actually it had
Stepping up last but a nigga not least. Yeah, come on, man.
That actual beat had Totally Insane, and it had Coog Nut and I believe it was either Dre Dog or Fly
R.I.P.
Mar that was on
Kuznet.
it. Yeah, they was on there, and when we heard it, he was like, "Bro, I'm ready to take them off." Had y'all and Totally Insane on it. We like, hell yeah, that'd be raw. So that's how that ended up happening. But I never was in the features. But right now, my best to this date that I love, benefit from, and I love collaborating with his nephew, Larry June.
For
man,
sure.
that was hands down.
There was some bangers too.
Nothing even
I
come
love
close
to
to
see
that.
it. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
and we
Yes,
got
sir.
something. We got some songs cooking up
That's
right
what I'm
now
talking
that
about.
we finished. Y'all be hearing very, very soon. So, nephew, man, it's just something about when me and him get together.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's
you
right.
know, I love it,
That's
man.
right.
So, and he sparked the fire back in me just to even come back because I was semi-retired,
And
just
a lot
pushing
of us
merch.
need that, though.
Yeah. He came to me in 2020 and was like, "Unc, I need you for a song," and I'm dragging my feet like, I don't know, I'm just not in, I'm just not feeling it right now. He like, "Nah, come on, I need you on this. Meet me in Frisco."
And
Sent
it was
the
on.
beat, and it was on, man. And I got bit by the bug and ain't stopped. And he came back, got me on that organic work. And then I got him on my song
Yes,
on What's
sir.
Happening and at the Rainy Day Schedule. And now, man, we've been off to the races
Yes,
now.
sir.
So, man, yeah, hands down, the best person I love working with. The best.
And I mean that's and that's right now today, and it's more coming. It's more on the way.
More on the
more
way.
stuff happening.
Yes, sir.
So we about to do something what I call, and obviously this is the first episode of Shamann Walton's 100% Keep It Real podcast. But we just gonna do a few rapid fire questions.
Okay.
It's either a real quick response or a yes or no.
Okay.
All right, you ready for this?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, Frisco or New York?
Frisco.
I mean, that was of course. Is it ever cool to say San Fran?
Hell no.
Y'all hear that? Stop messing up my
San
city
Fran.
saying San Fran. And just real quick, because I got into it with somebody back in the day, and it's a lot of literature out there that say we're not supposed to say Frisco.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I try to tell folks that's
crazy.
cultural, because in the
Yeah.
community, in the hood, on the block, we've been saying Frisco forever.
Forever.
We're going to use Frisco.
Yeah, that
but
ain't
stop
going
saying
that
San
ain't going
Fran.
No. San Fran is
Period.
goofy. You might well just say San Francisco.
Exactly. Football or basketball?
Football.
Okay. Pretty face or thick in the waist?
Pretty face.
Beaches or nightclubs?
Nightclub.
Nightclubs, okay. Mixed drinks or straight?
Straight.
That's what I'm talking
Now.
about. Hey,
Now
see
it's
what I'm
straight for
talking
me.
about? And the last one, more serious question, because we also want to get some knowledge, some education out there. Should people vote?
Yeah.
Why you say
if
that?
if you want things to change, or don't complain.
That's right.
So I think if you go vote, people don't realize the power in your vote. One person, everybody be like, I'm just one person, ain't gonna make a difference, but it do make a difference. You know what I mean? So I've been a registered voter.
That's right.
Man, ever since I knew I could vote, I've been registered. My party status is starting to change now. I'm kind of more independent, trying to, swaying away because I just grew up thinking Democrat.
Right.
When you're in the hood, that's what you think. But, I think that's changing. But, yeah, most definitely vote, or don't complain.
Whatever party you are about, whatever your morals or values, just make sure you vote. This ain't about making sure somebody side with this side
Exactly.
or side with that side.
Just vote.
But make sure you vote because if you don't have a voice.
Yes, sir.
And like you said, you lose the benefit to complain. And yes, elections have been won or lost by a few votes.
By a
so
few
your
votes,
vote
real
is
talk.
very important. So anything else you want to leave the people with today? And again, like I said, I want to appreciate you coming here,
Most
taking the
definitely.
time out. I know
Yes,
you got
sir.
stuff going on today. You got a performance tomorrow too.
Yep,
You're gonna be at
tomorrow.
Family Day
Yes,
in
sir.
Sunnydale, along with Mac Mall and Young Lot.
Yes,
So
sir.
we gonna be looking forward to that.
Most
But
def.
anything you want to leave the people with, or tell the people that they should know what's going on?
Man, I think we covered everything, man. Just shout out to the fans who constantly been supporting. Especially, man, a personal special shout out, man, to the Latino community,
That's
man,
right.
because
That's right.
they go hard for me,
That's
man.
right.
They
The
like
Latino
my number,
community
yeah.
reps.
They reps
And
me
they bang,
hard,
for sure.
man. They love
For
me.
sure.
I don't care if it's NorCal, SoCal, Texas,
right.
wherever, man. They show up and show out for me. And man, just keep supporting. Like I say, follow us at RBL Posse across all platforms,
That's
man.
right.
And rest in peace, Mr. C and Hitman.
That's right. And I just want to say again, thank you to Andy and Javan and Percy for
Most
making this
definitely.
happen this morning and for being here with us. We're going to continue to do this Shamann 100% Real podcast where everything we talk about going to be 100% real. We're not going to bring nothing fake to you, nothing fake to your front door. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about history. We're going to talk about who outside, who not. And, of course, we're going to talk about music. But I want to thank Black C from the legendary RBL Posse for coming here, showing us love. Community, we about to do this thing so much more, so many more times. Appreciate y'all tuning in and checking us out.
Yes, sir.
And one love,
man.
Black C, RBL. Appreciate you.